without a second thought, y'all showed up, and this has been more amazing than I ever could have imagined, so I'm so grateful for you. I also want to thank a very special mentor, my husband, John Smith. You are my anchor, you keep me grounded. I can be a very intense person. I have a lot of ideas, I want to run through things, I need feedback, and he keeps me grounded, he listens to all the things. So I just really appreciate you always being there for me while I'm trying to change the world. So thank you, baby. I love you. So recognizing our mentors isn't just about gratitude. It really reflects one of the core intentions behind the program. There have been and are a lot of great mentorships in this program, mentorship programs in the community, and I've had the honor of being a part of a couple of them, and I've learned so much from the experience they provided. And when I set out to develop the programming for Raise the Bar, one thing I felt was really important as I was trying to build on the foundation of the mentorship programs that have come before Raise the Bar is focusing on mentor development. A lot of the programs are able to recruit these amazing mentors, and they pair them with up-and-coming people, and they have a fantastic, program set out. But a lot of the mentors, I've heard from folks, they're like, I know how I did it, but I don't necessarily know how to teach that to the next generation. So that was something as I was developing this that I really wanted to figure out how to support, right? Not just for Raise the Bar, but so that our mentors, after going through the program, would be able to go back into their communities, back into their businesses, and continue to be better mentors going forward. So I have to give a huge shout out, she is not here today, but our Director of Mentor Education, Sarah D'Souza, has been an invaluable resource for this program. She's been an amazing thought partner, and her contributions are so impactful. This program wouldn't be the same without her, so grateful for her. And Uncle Nearest, our leadership team, Fauna Keith Weaver, and these two amazing women sitting in the front row, Kate Jerkins and Victoria Edie Butler. Thank you for believing in my vision, investing in our community, and allowing us and allowing Raise the Bar to have a home and the funding that it needed to be successful in its first year. It truly wouldn't have happened without y'all's support. So thank you so much. So launching Raise the Bar really marked a turning point for me. It helped me realize that my purpose isn't just to lead, but to help other people lead with intention and impact. And that clarity has become a driving force in my current shift as I'm moving forward in my career and really trying to figure out how to work with leaders in hospitality and beyond, helping them gain clarity, build confidence, and develop programs that uplift entire communities. Raise the Bar is the cornerstone for that work, but it's also part of a larger commitment to mentorship, collaboration, and creating accessible pathways for those too often left out of the conversation. I'm going too slow. So there was a picture a while back, maybe 2 slides ago. Can we go backwards? One more. There we go. So I'm going to shift for a minute because one of our prompts was to talk about how we were inspired around belonging and inclusivity. So this is me and my cousins when I was a little kid. You can guess which one I am. Sitting on my grandma's porch in North Carolina, in Durham. But belonging has always been a very personal thing to me. I grew up in a multiracial family in the 80s. I obviously have always been very white presenting, but I came from a very proud Black family, and I have always been very loved, but never quite felt like I fit in either side of my family, right? So belonging was always something that was top of mind, and growing up when I did, I was the only mixed kid I knew, so it was always a bit of an issue. At the same time, I learned that being mixed came with some perks and definitely a lot of privilege. Although I often felt I didn't fully belong anywhere, I also learned to move between worlds in such a way that I could be accepted in a lot of places that other people with more distinct racial identities couldn't on both sides. My racial ambiguity has always allowed me to experience an inside view of more cultures than just my own, which is a really great gift and something that I'm always very grateful for. But I also learned early that we're treated very differently based on the color of our skin. I've always had the privilege of being able to walk into rooms and sit at tables and have conversations that a lot of people in my family cannot have. And that's something that is a fact. It's horrible, and I think a lot of people in this room are working to change that, but it's something that is reality. And one of the things that I try to do every day is make sure that when I do show up in those rooms or sit at those tables or have those conversations, that I remember who I am, I remember the ancestry that I come from, and I make sure that I don't just speak for myself, but I speak for all of those people who don't feel safe in those spaces or have the ability to have those conversations. So I mentioned before that I've been in the industry since my early teens. Okay, we can go to the next slide now, thank you. But it really wasn't until I started bartending about 20 years ago. Yeah, it's been more than 20 years, Lord, getting old. It wasn't until then that I really found a second home. Bartending has always been an amazing community, and that's where I really started feeling a sense of belonging. I went to school in Berkeley, California, and I lived in Oakland for a long time. This was one of my first bartending jobs in Oakland back in the early 2000s. And, I was a young mom. I had a lot to juggle, and bartending was this amazing space where I was able to be with my kids during the day. I was able to go out at night. I was going to work, but I still felt like I was going out. I could have a life, I could make money, I had independence, I could be creative, and I found this community of people that I finally felt like I belonged with. It was amazing opportunity, and I'm so just grateful because I love the craft of bartending, but what drew me in wasn't the craft, it was the community. The chance to create that space, create moments of joy and connection, night after night, shift after shift. It's a community that I've grown up with, and it's shaped me in so many ways, and I'm just so deeply grateful to still be here and after all these years and be able to give back to this community that I love so much. So over the years, I've had the privilege of working with some amazing organizations that really reflect the heart and potential of this industry. I am so grateful, and they have all deeply influenced my own approach to mentorship, leadership, and community building. For the past 5 years, I've been a part of the team at Uncle Nearest, a brand rooted in the history and the legacy of Nearest Green, the world's first known African-American master distiller. Sharing his story, and it was one that was nearly erased from history. It's been a really powerful reminder of why visibility, acknowledgement, and legacy matter. So I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to be a part of sharing this amazing story that has inspired and shaped so many more brands to come and so many people that are change makers in our industry. Here in New Orleans, I've had the honor of serving for the past 2 years on the board of directors for Turning Tables, an organization that's working to dismantle systemic inequity. Providing Black and brown hospitality with education, mentorship, and opportunities for leadership roles in the industry. Their work is deeply important and unapologetically transformational, and it's reminded me that the most effective programs don't just fill the gaps. They challenge the structure that created those gaps in the first place. And then for the past several years, I've been part of the Futures Advisory Board and faculty team at Bar 5 Day, an experience that has come full circle for me. It's been so amazing to have the chance to learn from and work alongside some of my own mentors, some of whom are sitting back here in the room. Steve and Andy. I now have been able to work with a lot of my dear friends and colleagues as well as we continue to move forward and reimagine what hospitality looks like hospitality education looks like from the inside out. So I'm very grateful from that. And now, more than 30 years after my first shift, I finally feel like I'm able to show up as my whole self, bringing everything I've learned to build something that helps others do the same thing. This industry has given me so much. It's been a source of purpose, of growth, of deep connection. And because I love it, I believe in its potential to keep evolving. Despite all the creativity and care that defines this community, I find myself constantly asking the question, why is it so hard for our industry to prioritize real sustained support for bartenders and hospitality workers? What would it look like if we matched the passion that we pour into parties and activations with an equal investment in care for the people who make it all possible? Don't get me wrong. We celebrate big moments beautifully. We love the parties and the competitions and the branded events, and those moments all have their place and are very important. But when it comes to funding the quieter, ongoing work of mental health and business education and emergency relief and mentorship, that's often where the support thins out. And those are the things that keep our industry healthy and thriving. I think, it's crazy. I found a statistic. I didn't find it, actually. I was on a talk a couple years ago, and Luli from WSET presented this really amazing statistic. There are over 850,000 bartenders just in the United States. They are responsible for 53 million changes in drink or brand order per week. Per week. That's crazy. That's a huge, huge influence on business. Our bartenders and hospitality workers are the front line of our industry, and yet the funding to truly support them is the first thing that gets cut at the slightest financial downturn, and that has to change. If we want a thriving industry, we need thriving workers. It's time to match our admiration with action and build the kind of infrastructure that honors not just what bartenders and hospitality providers do, but who they are and what they need to continue their growth personally and professionally. I've always been more comfortable behind the scenes supporting others, but this award has shifted something. I don't see this as a moment to rest on what I've accomplished. I see it as a challenge, a call to do more, to take bigger risks in service of what I believe is possible. A lot has changed since I found out I'd be receiving this award. This month marks the end of my time with Uncle Nearest, which is very bittersweet. I love you all so much, and I will forever be grateful to the entire Uncle Nearest family for everything we've built together over the past 5 years. But my path forward is clear. Over the last year, I've had the chance to witness firsthand just how much is possible when we invest. Invest in people, not just with praise and parties, but with resources, structure, and real support. That experience has inspired me for the next chapter. I have officially launched a nonprofit. I'm supported by an incredible board, some of which are in this room. Kate Gerwin, Tiffany Barrier, Sarah D'Souza, who is not here today, and Eddie Simeon. I'm so grateful for you all for stepping up and taking the vision to make sure that this continues. I appreciate you so much, and that's just the beginning. As I step into this next chapter, I'm also building something bigger, something that reaches beyond any one program, because what I've learned in my very short time as a nonprofit founder is that most of the time, founders have to spend all their time chasing money. Yes, instead of focusing on the critical community work that they set out to do in the first place. So, it's a lot. So as I step out on my own, I've been doing a lot of research and trying to figure out ways that I could support funding of Raise the Bar. And I figured, why just do it for Raise the Bar if I could help the other nonprofits in our industry to do the same. So I'm launching an agency. I'm a Capricorn overachiever. Sorry. But it is one that's rooted in collaboration and collective impact. One of the things that I love so much about this industry is our desire to come together, to support each other, to uplift each other. And what I hate to see more than anything is nonprofits having to compete against each other for funding, right? So I really want to make sure that I can be a resource to help lift that burden for other nonprofit founders. I luckily have many, many years of marketing that I have a lot of connections. So I really want to be a partner to all of you in being able to support and find that funding that you need so that we can do all of the work that needs to be done to support our program. So my company is very synergistically, it's called Vera Collaborations.
And Christina's watching too.
Spelled different, V-I-R-A. Vera comes from the Portuguese word, I moved to Portugal recently, so I gotta tie that in. The Portuguese word virar, which means to turn, to shift, or to become. So it represents the moment that we choose to work differently and move from doing business as usual to building something with purpose. Because we don't have to wait for someone else to fix what's broken. The future of our industry is ours to design, and we have to do it together.
Yes.